Recording in progress.
She's going to hit it.
Here we go. I just hit that.
She hit it. We hit it. They hit it.
We all hit it.
We all hit it. All right. Sheila was part of... No, I'm not going to say that. All right. Good evening. Today is a special episode of Tales from the Head. This is a night episode. We do them sometimes, but tonight's a little late for us. Not in a bad way, but spooky season.
Mm-hmm.
The subject matter today is not spooky at all, actually.
No.
It may be overwhelming to some folks, but definitely not spooky.
Well,
today...
I heard somebody made it like the subject today related to fall.
Fall?
Yeah, go ahead and say introduce the topic today, and then I'll tell you what I've been
okay,
told.
because I am totally confused. So today's topic is going to be minimalism to help you declutter your life, but we're going to be focusing a lot more on the KonMari method, which any of those people familiar with Marie Kondo might know what we're talking about. If not, stay tuned. We are going to get more in depth with this, but we're mostly just focusing on minimalism and decluttering our lives on this episode. And what was the nugget of truth I was unraveling?
Well, everybody always associates spring with cleaning, but they when I introduced you this topic, or when inspired us to get this topic, somebody said it as, we always just think about spring cleaning, but we never talk about decluttering fall. And they're saying actually the fall season is a great time to start decluttering from all the stuff that you collected, because basically we run in certain cycles. We clean out in spring, collect all the stuff over the summer. We go vacations, we buy souvenirs, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then by the fall time, it's time to declutter again. And then guess what's going to happen with the holidays? And during that time, going to collect some more stuff. So it's kind of like a cycle.
Exactly. And I think what we're going to be focusing on today is a day-to-day routine. So this isn't going to be, I know we mentioned spring cleaning, fall, decluttering. I kind of want to get rid of all that altogether. I think it's good. It's realistic. Problem is we let things build up. And the whole point of minimalism is that's not the point of it. So we're going to be talking about Marie Kondo's KonMari method, which I've been privy to, but I've never fully indulged because, as you may know, she is ridiculously renowned and famous and popular, and for I think the last 3 or 4 years. But in the last 2, she's really taken off. And I know Steph was super into her show on, I think it was even before she had a show on Netflix. I think she had or maybe it was Netflix, and then it just got renewed.
Wasn't like first on YouTube first? Like she had something on YouTube?
Well, I think originally she had a book, and then I think it went to YouTube, and then she just blew up. But I guess we should just dive right into it. So if we define the KonMari method, which is really easy, it's really just Marie Kondo's name. So that's what the direct definition is, just 2 names put together. But the actual definition of what it means is it's her minimalist-inspired approach to tackling your stuff by categories. And see, most of the time when we're organizing or cleaning, we obviously don't do that. We go room by room, and we consider it like, oh, that room's done. But see, the thing is like we're assuming that room is finalized, organized, and set up optimally. Which it isn't. We're just not doing things efficiently. We're just doing them the easiest way we think possible, which is room by room, space by space. Or maybe you'd be like, oh, well, only one room in my house is dirty. But see, here's the thing. Minimalism is not talking about cleanliness. Those are 2 different things. Yeah. So minimalism is really mostly just focusing on, that in itself, a minimal lifestyle, which will obviously give you, it's less noise. It's a better way to focus your energy on more important things in your life.
Yeah.
To give it in a nutshell. And Marie Kondo To give a brief intro of her, because I didn't want to spend too much time, but like for our listeners that are not familiar with her, she was at first a cleaning consultant over in Japan, and was actually, for a while, you could call her up, schedule appointments. She would come to your house actually and do all this stuff. Obviously now, because she is rich and well known, she has a company that helps her, but she actually does not do the stuff herself anymore. She's the face, so it's pretty big deal. Like, she's really responsible for helping minimalism become more accessible and make more sense. And we're gonna basically break down. So it's like she does categories for minimalization, and for the most part, there's 5 categories to separate all of what we are and what makes up our clutter. Real quick, it's going to be clothes, books, papers, kimono, which is miscellaneous items, and then last but not least, sentimental items. And the interesting thing about all that is basically what you would do is you would take all your clothes out of every single area of your house and put it in one spot of your house.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you get it all in one area, you're going to go through it all. So to break down the process of each category, there's 6 steps within each category, which I noted on here as well. Which really kind of helps you break down, okay, I'm going to go through 5 categories, and I have 6 steps through each category. Well, I do the math, it's 30 steps, whatever. But the point is it's a really thorough way to explain, what you're going to do with all your clothes. So you got all your clothes together, you threw it all in one spot. Now you got to go through it. Well, how do you go through it? Are you just going to throw away your old stuff, or are you just going to... So the main thing is you're going to commit yourself to tidying up, which is organization and decluttering. Another thing to help you with decluttering is because a lot of people are overwhelmed and change, and it makes them depressed, and they're like, I don't want this. But the important thing to keep in the back of your head while you're doing all this is to imagine what you really want, your ideal lifestyle. You want less stress. You want more money. Maybe you need a budget and you just don't realize where all your money's gone, and you have all this sunk stuff lying around your house. Maybe a lot of stuff you can sell.
Yeah.
And then, so the main thing is once you finish discarding and before you get rid of the items, she has this really unique thing she does, which I actually really appreciate because I am a very sentimental person to the point where it's almost like, what? But she, before she discards the item, she sincerely thanks each item for serving its purpose. Which sounds weird, right?
I think that's a very culture thing, and I'm sorry, maybe I'm not very in tune with the Japanese culture. I'm assuming Marie Kondo is Japanese, right?
She is Japanese.
I think Japanese. Okay. I feel like that's a very culture thing, thinking everything for serving the purpose. I was watching this TV show. It was fishing. There's people fishing in Hawaii, and every time they catch the fish, they killed it. They would thank the fish, like, hey, thank you for the gods for protecting us, for helping us win this battle, and they thank the fish also for feeding them and providing food for they thank the fish and everything. So I think it's a very cultural thing where you thank the item for serving its purpose and kind of bringing you whatever it is that they brought you.
Okay, but regardless of it being cultural, how do you feel about it?
And I think it goes down to, because I'm looking ahead over here what the other steps are.
Yeah,
it is a bit weird, but it kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense for me in the sense that if you think the item, you kind of really put in your head that this item already served its purpose. So therefore, you're not so attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
There was closure to it, if you will.
Right.
So
exactly.
You're not so attached, but you kind of think that even if it was a brand new shirt that you never wore, it brought you happiness. it brought you something at the moment, you thank it, and even if you've never worn it, it served its purpose. Right. It served the purpose of your time. So I feel like you're not so committed to wear it after all. It doesn't become a burden. Like, hey, I didn't wear it. Sucks, but you know what? It brought me joy for when I bought it. You know, it was ready there. So thank you. It's time for somebody else to enjoy it.
I mean, that's perfect. And that's exactly, I didn't want to express, I mean, because I could sit here and just babble and talk to myself, but it's like, I really, because that's how I felt when I first read it. It was like, okay, I get it. But then it's like, no, but like, before you just get to your like, and then you're not doing this, but in my head, that's what I say. Yeah. Like before I start talking shit and judging this person, really think about what the intent is here. And the intent, like you just perfectly worded, is to get some closure on this, because that's the thing about minimalism is really combating hoarding. And everyone does it to a degree. And I believe the psychosis with hoarding is having an attachment to all of those items. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So this is really good because it's giving you that. I really appreciate it. And I said, you know, it sounds goofy. And, you know, that's part of me that says it sounds goofy. But in my heart of hearts, I love that. And I feel like, and I appreciate what you said, too, about how it's cultural. And I completely agree. But I think we need to adopt it. I think,
absolutely,
we need to make this more of a norm, because appreciation, you can't ever go wrong with too much of it. I mean, it's a good way to like spread humility. Yeah, that's true. But like, you know, just people need to be more humble and aware of what things are and why they serve a purpose, instead of being like, just because, and, you know.
I feel also, still going with that culture thing, we're so dominated here in Western culture that we feel like our possessions give us worth. Mm-hmm. Our possession, you know, the more stuff we have, the more, you know, what's what I'm looking for? Not worth, but not also value. Network, is it? Sure, why not?
Yeah,
worth, value, whatever we have. And that sounds, you know, I feel like that's how we measure our success here. We measure success by having more stuff. So by kind of getting rid of the stuff that used to show our success, it's kind of like, well, it's kind of like a whole value. It's kind of like a whole like identity crisis also.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've seen the show several times, the hoarding show, or Hoarders Buried Alive. And a lot of time is like them having physical, like, no, I might use that. That's perfectly good. Like, all my life I used, you know, spent collecting this. I wasn't ready to let it go yet.
Right.
And it's like shit from like 20, 40 years ago. And you're like, yo, you don't need that no more. Like, that's obsolete, like, or absolute. So I don't know. I think it's that. It's psychological. And it's like, it's definitely closure and kind of detaching yourself from like, from having any sort of sentimental value to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally what it is. So, and then it goes to, moving along to the next one, it goes to tidy by category, not location. And we briefly touched on this when we were kind of going over the categories and the methodology, but I think it's good to just kind of cement why categories are more important. And I think we kind of touched it, but basically, you know, if you only organize the clothes in the living room or your bedroom, but then you do have like, I mean, it seems kind of weird. You mostly only have clothes in your bedroom, but let's just say maybe another example might be books, right? So that was the second category. You got books probably throughout your whole house. It's not like, I mean, how many of us have a library? Not too many.
Yeah, not no more.
Not too many of us. And so, you know, you got your books maybe in a bookshelf here, maybe in another room. If you only organize the room, you're going to have all these other books that are collecting dust and all the nudie National Geographics in the garage that grandpa left behind. Just kidding. But all that stuff, you know, like that's why you got to bring it all together, because you know as well as I do, dude, even if you're not a hoarder, you tell me when you've done this, when you've cleaned and you found stuff maybe it was 10 or 15 years old.
Hell yeah, dude.
And you're not a hoarder. It's just maybe you got lost or.
And I think also by putting all of everything together all at once, you visually see how much of it is that you have.
Right. And it also is supposed to kind of be like a scared straight, a rude awakening almost, right?
Kind of like a motivation, like, yo, this is way too much. You know, I need to, you see it there. Because, if you have it spread out room by room.
You're like, this ain't that bad. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not so bad, like compared to the other room. And I think once you bring it all together, it's kind of like, all right, this is a little bit too much.
Definitely like a visual representation. Like you just said, it's like, this is your mind on drugs, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's an actual example. So you're like, oh, wow. Yeah, I am a retard. Well, I'm sorry. Lack of a better word. I am mentally, just kidding. Moving right along.
I do have a problem.
Yeah,
I do have a problem.
I do have a problem. Thank you, Danny, for a more PC approach to what I was trying to say.
I am a PC teacher.
A piece of what? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Oh, dad joke number 6,452. This one confused me a little. So it said, maybe. So it says follow the right order. And I'm guessing, the order of categories to go through.
Yeah.
You have to. Okay, so that's a good thing to bring up and reiterate. It is very important, and it makes sense, because if the first one's clothes and the last one is sentimental, you can kind of figure out sentimental is the most important. So it's also good, and if you think about it discipline-wise, because it's much easier to go through your clothes and books and then get that routine and ready for sentimental, because you wouldn't let go of anything sentimental if it was number one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a boot camp up to sentimental items.
And because, here's my thing also, Coop. I would like to further investigate to see if like these categories can intertwine with each other. Because for me, I have 2 or 3 sentimental items that are clothes. Number one, I have a shirt. I haven't worn a shirt since like 2000. It's like a size medium. I'm a fucking 2XL. No way in hell I'm gonna fit in that fucking shirt ever again.
Right.
But it's a shirt from my very first concert. Yeah. My very first like small club at Slim's, and so it holds like a sentimental value for me because it's that one show. Same thing with like there's a couple of books and stuff like that. So I think it's like, do you divide it into like, okay, well, this is sentimental, or like, do you think there might be like in between some things?
First things first is dumb everything down. You're already overthinking it. So I know it's sentimental, but it's still clothes. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of it, but you need to keep everything together and organized. Because if you keep your clothes and your books and, you know what I mean, all in that sentimental category, you're still not doing what we just talked about, which is addressing everything, figuring out what it is. And here's the thing. You might figure out that maybe it isn't as sentimental as you once thought.
And you know what? It's smart.
I think that's part of what this is really evaluating what you think is real and what is real.
Yeah. And also it's smart because if you separate it, if you separate everything, by the time you get to sentimental items, maybe there isn't a whole hell of shit left anymore. Exactly.
There's that too, right? There's like, we've already consolidated stuff, but I really do feel like you've also kind of disciplined yourself to evaluate items as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And detach yourself from certain things. But yeah, because I mean, a lot of my sentimental items, I mean, obviously, like, if I can speak on your behalf, Coop, I'm assuming like things associated with your wedding or with your wife or your kids, those are sentimental items. But like whenever I see for me, a lot of my sentimental items are like miscellaneous items, random shit like bobbleheads and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I'm like, maybe by the time I get to sentimental items, it's not really like that much.
Well, based on what we just named, bobbleheads and all that would probably fall under miscellaneous items.
Yeah, a kimono.
So toys, all that would be miscellaneous.
Yeah.
So isn't that funny, dude? That if you look at it, Like, really, like the fact that she doesn't even list out toys, bobbleheads, all that shit. It's like, it has a purpose to me because I like the stuff. Yeah. But then I do kind of think, wow, I mean, it does give you a little perspective, but some food for thought also. Different strokes for different folks. This is a mindset and a method that should be used to help you. But just like every other minimalist approach, it's best. Obviously, the results are based on the information presented. So if you do want these good results, I recommend following it as close as you can because we're not experts. I think what everyone should try and do instead of what we think we should do, which is I'm going to do my own version of it. That's great, but the problem is you're not really doing it. You're just making an excuse to not really do it. So try it, like really try it and go through. And I'm going to do it too because I got my studio and I want to clean it out. So I'm going to go and do this in here. And we're not supposed to go room by room, but I'm going to organize everything categorically within this room because Steph's already got a minimalist approach. Like I said, we've already I know about this stuff because 99% of my house is minimalist. We're really clean. Having I mean we consolidate the kids' toys like every few months. It's not that we throw them away, but what we do is we take them and put them in bags and we hide them. Yeah. And then because kids don't play with all their toys. They literally don't. And then you bring them out and you recycle the toys so that way the kids aren't just bored all the time. And then no kid needs a million toys. And then hey, guess what? If they don't like them, then donate them. So it's kind of like what we've already been doing, but I'm just kind of been in my little hole and cave and just, I could definitely go through a few things in this room.
I think also is we have, try not to adjust, or I like that thing you said about try not to like modify it. Stick to the plan. Yeah. Stick to the plan 100%. Because here's one example that comes to mind. It's like whenever I go and like I'm gonna bring food for somebody, or like a group of people. One thing that pisses me off is when like there's like 20 million custom like orders. Like do this. Oh, ask for this. Ask for that. Dude, it just gets so complicated, and I feel like there's so much more room to make mistakes. Where it's just like, all right, I would just want this. Bring us to this. Keep it nice and simple.
Yeah, mistakes or like an excuse to give up.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's also another thing. And like we were talking about before we hit the record button, I'm like, I feel like this is one of the reasons why like In-N-Out is so successful. Mm-hmm. In-N-Out only has 2 items, if you think about it, in the menu. Yeah. But as far as like entrees, it has your hamburger and a cheeseburger. Of course, you can order like 2 patties, 2 pieces of cheese or whatever you want. But at the end of the day, they're not bringing in like, chicken tenders. They're not bringing in chicken sandwiches or Philly cheesesteaks, or they just keep it straight to burgers. Mm-hmm. The only thing they know. And I feel like with that minimal, there's no with that minimal approach to like a menu like that, it's not so overwhelming to a consumer. Mm-hmm. And it's not overwhelming for like the worker because, at the end of the day, you're going to have to grill a fucking patty. Right. So it doesn't even matter, you can grill as many patties as you want and you'll have it all down.
Well, that's the cool thing is from a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. And then from a consumer standpoint, it's good too, because like you just said, if you go and you're eating out with, your girl and you look at a menu and you realize you're like, okay, there's like 40 things on here. That to me is a red flag that the food is going to suck. Yeah. Also, the variety of food matters too. If it has Italian and sushi, I'm out. Yeah. Because you have no specialty at that point. It's not fusion. There's no such thing as Italian Japanese fusion.
Well, let me ask you this, Coop, because one of my I love going to like diners. I love going. We're both here from San Jose, and any listener here, one of my favorite places to go eat breakfast is this place called Southern Kitchen on Monterey Road, right across the street from the flea market over on Capitol Expressway or on Capitol. Capitol Expressway. Well, they have like 20 or 30 different types of like omelets. When it comes to breakfast, they have like so many different like options for breakfast.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, for me, the food's great, but I can see where it can be like a red flag if it has like different options.
Right.
But if you think about it, it's just breakfast still. It's not like
right. I mean, that's one example. Yeah. But I mean, not to shit on it, but I'm not shitting on breakfast. But I'm saying like I said, my example was like if you got like a restaurant where it's like two different styles of food that have nowhere to meet in the middle.
Like two different spectrums.
Like, I mean, I'm not saying Italian Japanese fusion isn't real or will be. I just think it's a tough one to sell for most people to eat.
Yeah.
So like, and it's a weird example I use, but basically like
I think you're pretty right. You're pretty spot on that.
But I agree. See, breakfast is probably an exception just because kind of like what you said, they're all like ingredients and they're different omelets and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And breakfast is kind of like one of those, breakfast is one of those things too, where it's like, okay, that's kind of the exception. Because I kind of do like having a variety with my breakfast options. But yeah, I feel like it's always nice. If you go to a good steakhouse, if you go to a nice restaurant, there's maybe at most 4 or 5 things on the item, including appetizers and desserts.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's a really nice restaurant, there's a dessert. I mean, there's not like... If you go to a really good restaurant, there's not going to be a dessert menu. And well, there might be, but it'll be what, 3 or 4 things tops, maybe.
Yeah, and it's always like it's going to be like,
and one of them's coffee
or something. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Like, I wouldn't trust if I went to like a steakhouse and they also have like pizza there. Like,
dude, yeah, exactly. And even though it might be good, it's just your heart of hearts is like, why aren't you just doing steak? Why aren't you just doing meats? Why are you doing pizza? Is your meat not good enough? People said, hey, I don't want a steak, I want pizza.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't even be coming out of someone's mouth going to a steakhouse. You want pizza, go to a pizza. There's pizza places. So there's some fat, lazy people out there, and I'm talking about the Walmartites that roll up with their rascals and they want to close down a Sizzler, dude. And I get it, dude. Yeah. The buffet style is great for certain people. But
also I think, no, I was going to say like, no, dude, you're so like spot on with that. And then also like, yeah, I don't know how, if you're good at something, just do that. It was something that pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's like people like, oh yeah, let's go to this hamburger spot or something. Like, oh yeah, the chicken tenders are good. Well, why the fuck are you gonna get chicken tenders?
Yeah, why did we go here? Yeah.
Yeah, like, go fucking McDonald's. And even then, like, that's why McDonald's food is kind of shitty. Like, if I want to get chicken tenders, I'll go to like, Smoke Eaters or like University Chicken, a place where they specialize in selling chicken.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that was pisses me off when they're like, oh yeah, let's go here. Well, I just get the chicken tenders. I'm like, what? Then what the fuck are we doing here?
Awesome sidebar. You want really good chicken tenders? Lola's Chicken Shack over in Alameda. You need to check that out.
Let me write.
Also, Lola's Chicken Shack, Alameda. I'm going to tell you right now, 2 amazing things. They got their chicken tenders, which you get great, amazing sauces. Also, the next best item, the Southwestern Chicken Burger. And I want you to write both of these down because you and your girl can get one of each and share and have the best meal of your lives. One of the best meals of your lives.
Southwestern chicken
burger. And it'll be the Southwestern burger, but it's a chicken burger. Oh, it's so good. But anyway, there's also world famous Hot Boys in Oakland that I still haven't tried, but I've heard their like chicken is insane. So there's that too. And those are East Bay, so you don't have to go across the bridge. Mm-hmm. You can just drive up 880 if you want.
World famous
Hot Boys.
Ooh, we're on fire. Hot Boys with a Z or an S? I'm just playing.
I think it's a Z.
I'm going to put a Z.
I think it's a Z.
That just makes it more authentic.
Well, yeah, it's Oakland. They do a lot of shits with Zs.
Hey, completely side note, because let's talk about Oakland really quickly here.
Sure.
I went to a show a couple weeks ago in Oakland, 2 weeks ago, I believe. Right off Broadway, not even Broadway, Telegraph. I think it was called like something social club. It doesn't matter. I went and we were looking at this parking garage, and there was this burger spot. It was like in the corner. It looked like an old school diner, legit, like maybe 2 blocks down from the Fox Theater / like Uptown. I can't remember what the place is called, but I remember having it once, but I can't remember if that place was good or bad. I know this is going nowhere because I don't know the name. I'm just throwing like random Sam's? Shit. Was it? They look like an old school like diner type of like 50s, like the Grease type of freaking like burger shop.
It's not Mel's, is it?
It could have been Mel's.
Mel's is kind of a chain.
No. Anyways, it closed down. Here, let me just look up Fox Theater really quickly. I have a fucking computer here.
But yeah, the diners. I mean, you can't go wrong with some of those diners. Well, Broadway's got some. There's a good chicken and waffle spot over on Broadway, down closer to Jack London.
I love chicken and waffles, dude. But for me, it has to be like the chicken has to be what's it called?
Crispy,
chicken,
crunchy on the outside,
crunchy. But most importantly, like I prefer it when it's boneless. I don't like when I get like chicken and waffles. Yeah, dude.
Oh no, you gotta go bone, dude.
Oh, better flavor. Dude. I love you, bro, but I don't think I can back you up on that one.
Really? Okay. Hey, well,
that's
the black community. Like however many African American listeners we have, please email us and shit on Danny's choice in food, because I can tell you right now they are rolling. Oh my God. Boneless. Okay. Oh my God. Jeez. Let's just turn the show off. I'm done.
Yeah, please.
What a terrible. Oh, now I got to turn into your brother. Now I got to.
I get it.
This is going to be a thing. You think the Dodgers meal is going to be a problem? No, I'm kidding. No. Okay. But, so what I was going to tell you is I'm not going to shit on your boneless bone in. Whatever. It irks me, but it's fine. Another good chicken and waffle place that I don't know if it's boneless, but it is like a breast and a thigh. So even if it is a bone, it's not a big deal. It's not like you're getting wings. What I'm trying to say, though, is 900 Grayson. It's in Emeryville, Berkeley border.
Mm-hmm.
Really fucking good. The chicken and waffles, it's called a Demon Lover. That's the name of the meal. They also have a really, really good bloody beer that pairs really well with that in the morning. But I think regardless of your bone in, bone out thing, you would still really enjoy this place.
Okay.
It's kind of a brunch spot.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be a nice little date.
All right. Hey,
parking sucks though, so that's the only thing.
Oakland parking just sucks, dude.
Well, and it's not even Oakland, so it's kind of worse. It's kind of Emeryville / Berkeley, and Berkeley's worse than Oakland.
Dude. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, Berkeley's a motherfucker.
Yes, like Berkeley. What's the other like? What's like the small little city, like legit a block at like you pass Gilman and then you're like, San Pablo,
Albany.
Yes. Oh my God, dude.
I knew exactly what you're talking about. Albany's so nice, but it's so white, so nice, and it's so small, like you just said.
Yeah, and it's like half of the town is like in top of hills.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, dude, anyways,
the place I was talking about is on the corner of 22nd and Telegram, in Oakland, and they go by the name of Giant Burgers.
Oh, I think I've seen. And Giant's like the main lettering, right?
Yeah, and Space Burger or something. But yeah, it's around the corner. It looks like it's all boarded up now. It looks like they closed it down. But I remember going there like once or twice, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Because I know I went to Oakland once because they had like a little not space thing, but like a First Friday kind of pop-up art show. So I went there once. So yeah. I don't know where I was going with that.
Was it good?
I think it.
There was like all this talk, and we don't even know whether it was good or not.
I think it was good because I definitely said to myself, "Oh, like next time I'm around, I'm around here, I'm definitely gonna check that out."
Yeah.
So
it probably closed during the pandemic.
Oh, dude, it's done. Yeah. It's still boarded up. But you know what? Oakland, I know it gets a very bad rep because of the city and the headlines and shit.
Yeah,
but don't believe it, dude. Oakland is pretty good. Like there's so much. As far as like there's so much like things to do, places to eat and stuff like that. Definitely like especially like right there on like Broadway and Telegraph, like so many things to do. And of course, do you want to limit yourself to that area? I feel like you step away from that and then you're just asking for trouble.
Well, see, and that's like, kind of going with the whole like don't necessarily let your guard down. I want to point out too, when we recommend these places to eat in Oakland, I always recommend daytime.
100%.
I work in Oakland. I know how fucked up East Oakland is. I know how fucked up West Oakland is. Yeah. Go during hours where there's people around and you're in screaming distance. That's all I'm gonna say.
Screaming distance.
Oakland's a great city. Yeah. Get a taser and some brass knuckles. You'll be fine.
Anywhere around the Lake Merritt area, you'll be well. And Zachary's Chicago style pizza. That place is delicious.
I mean, yeah, okay, sure. Piedmont, Lake Merritt, all the nice areas were all mostly the
lighter skin.
Yeah,
like the young professionals.
Well, by lighter skin, also a large Asian community, because I would definitely say it's not just white people. In fact, Oakland is pretty good about not being white and being fancy. Like Piedmont's white, but I don't know. I feel like Oakland's probably one of the most diversely rich. Like, even though its areas are rich, I still don't know if I'd... No, fuck that. It pretty much is all rich white people. Because even when you go to the hills, I've been in Piedmont. It's mostly all white people. But
yeah,
I'm not saying this isn't a racial thing at all. Let's be honest. I'm not even that level of white person to live there. So yeah, it's not racial. It's class. But
yeah,
either way, check it out. Daytime, not nighttime. Be smart. And I just don't recommend nighttime anywhere. Even your fucking neighborhood watering hole. No. Shit always goes down at night, dude. Crazies are out. People are trying to cash in their like scratchers, and you just don't need to cross paths with some of them.
Yeah, no, don't. No need for that.
I mean, it's just be smart.
Yeah. And then don't go in Richmond.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. El Cerrito, Richmond. So the last step that we didn't cover yet, which is probably the most important, this is the final step within each category to go through before you discard or keep things. And it is to ask yourself if this item sparks joy. And once again, it's something kind of foreign to us in general, but it's a very interesting and logical and straightforward way to approach this. And I feel like this line itself, ask yourself if it sparks joy, could be applied to relationships, could be applied to your job. I mean, all kinds of things you go through life. This whole concept isn't just about cleaning. It's really about tidying and getting rid of clutter in your mind, in your life, in your relationships. It's just a starting point. Your house is your starting point. But hopefully by the end of this episode, you'll understand this is kind of a boot camp for your mind more than it is anything else, which is getting yourself in a situation where you're valuing things more. You're better at evaluating as well, It's
adding value to it, and it also like makes it easier for you to detach yourself. And like I think that's a great metaphor. You just said that this can also be used for like relationships in life. If things are like not working out, if someone's creating stress to you, even if it's blood or not, if it's creating stress and it's just bringing you down, you really need to evaluate yourself. Like, all right, how much joy does this person actually bring? And if it doesn't bring you a lot of joy, then I mean, you need to put yourself first.
Yeah. You know, and then the other thing too is self-reflect. How much joy are you putting on to others?
Yeah. Oh wow, shit.
That definitely could be something I would use, because the easiest thing to do is to always to want to critique how others treat you, but how would you critique how you treat others? You know, and I feel like it's that whole adage, treat people how you want to be treated, and I constantly got to remind myself that it's like if I want people to respect me and talk to me in a way where I'm not an idiot or I'm not like just some nobody, I got to give them that same respect, you know? And
yeah.
And I think that's important. Am I sparking joy in a relationship? You know, and because if the answer is no, I can't expect the other half to do it. And then also,
yeah,
I'm the toxic. Maybe even though you're in a toxic relationship, the toxicity could be coming from you and you just don't realize it. And it's just this whole, because in a relationship, you know how it is. Like it's sometimes it's tit for tat. It's action reaction. So it's never really just one side. It's really a melting pot of issues or beauty. You know, it's either a melting pot of what makes us love each other, or it's why we fucking can't stand living together anymore. You know? So either way, I think it's just a very valuable mindset. You know, ask yourself if it sparks joy, you know, and like you just said, Danny, you know, like in relationships too. I mean, we need to be conscious of how we're living, you know?
Yeah. And you know what, dude, like when you continue with that joy thing, like you want to, if you want to attract positive energies and good energies, you have to surround yourself with that stuff also. So like, why keep stuff that you associate with like not so big of a joy? And you know, this is great also because if you buy like a bunch of like clothes or books or miscellaneous items out of like spur of the moment kind of like random shopping, then you kind of think to yourself like, oh, well, how much joy does this thing really? It's easier for you to throw away things or detach yourself from things.
Yeah, because that's the thing. The other thing, and a good way to think of this too is for things that aren't easy to get rid of or part with, I should say. You're not necessarily you're not burning. You're not taking it and burying it in a desert. You can donate this stuff. You can give it to someone, and I would recommend donating. I wouldn't necessarily pawn stuff off to your friends because all you're doing is taking your clutter and giving them more clutter. It's different if maybe they're helping you, because it does recommend that to get a friend to help. I'm like, look, dude, I asked my friends to help me move years ago, and I kind of agreed. I'm not doing that anymore, so I don't know if it's my buddy's responsibility to go through my shit. I'm going to be a better friend and take this one on myself.
But I think at the end of the day, you do need some like support. You need a neutral person who's not going to enable you. You know, you need like a neutral person to kind of like balance you. Because then if you run through all those questions and you see yourself rather than decluttering, you're still like holding on to like 80 or 75% of the items, and you know, you really didn't do that much.
Yes, and actually, thank you, Danny, for clarifying that. That is a valuable point. Then that's why it probably needs to be done that way. So no, never disregard what I said, because I agree. I think what you need to do is have someone that's unbiased. So probably a significant other, sibling, because these people are going to give you the truth. I mean, that's why you fight with them, because they tell you sometimes what you don't want to hear, and that is very valuable. So,
but you know what, Coop? I think you did bring up a good point. I think you said how don't pawn your things into your, like, give them to your friends or something because you have to get rid of them. Because I believe that's what the only thing that's going to happen is every time you go and you see that item, you're going to want it back, or it's going to create
I wasn't even thinking that, because
like you're basically going to quote unquote relapse or something.
See, I wasn't even thinking. See, that's interesting. You were thinking more of like the addict approach, and I wasn't even thinking that way. I was thinking I was just purely thinking of of kind of like the whole, like, remember you got to clean your room back in the day and you just throw all the shit in the closet?
Yeah. You hide it and that's it.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, my idea was, I'm giving this to my buddy. Oh, he could use it. Great. But dude, that is a great point, because subconsciously I'm giving it to my friend also because I know where that shit is. And if I ever want to fucking get it, he's not going to fight me to get it back. So
yeah,
he's going to hold it for me.
Or in a way, you're hoarding things, but rather than have it all in one place, now you're just passing along like to a different room now.
Safe house. Yeah, exactly. So
safe house.
just because it's so different
the trap
room.
House of your shit.
Oh, dude, so that's hilarious. You're like, this isn't my house though. No, but it's like, but see, room by room doesn't mean under the same domicile. Interesting. Dang. Interesting. See, Danny?
Hey, for something so minimal, we're definitely going super deep into
Hey, because listen, you gotta unravel it before you can get to the chewy golden center, dude. You gotta unwrap this candy. And
that's true, dude.
But that's the thing though. And that's a great point, because we are going into strict detail. But it's also not because it's a dense subject matter. It's just we're trying to educate people on it.
Yeah.
But that is a great point, because before we get into it, I am going to, because we are going to go over some minimalism stuff. We're mostly going through the KonMari method because, like I said, I feel like it's really good for beginners. I also feel like it's a really nice, disciplined way to go about minimalism. But I also feel like it's important to just kind of visit everything and just give a taste for what's going on.
Yeah. So
to close this out before we get into minimalism, it's kind of like just a brief overview, really. It's just So even myself, I did this kind of. I jumped to conclusions. I kind of judged Marie Kondo. I'm like, whatever. She's just a tidying up person. Woohoo! Like she's just the next gimmick to make money off of people and blah, blah, blah. Well, when you actually look into what's going on and what makes up her method, and it's not a scam, because she's not selling anything. I mean, she's selling her services, but she's also teaching you how to do it yourself. So whenever I feel like it's a skilled trade or something, and someone would rather show you how to do it than to keep it a little secret, to me, that shows more value in what they're talking about, and it also shows me that this person is trustworthy. They hold themselves to a standard, and that standard is also like available for others to see as well.
And I feel like when you teach somebody, what's that thing from the Bible? Like teach somebody how.
So like it's like, yeah, you teach a man, you feed a man, he can eat for a day, but if you teach him how to fish, he can eat for a lifetime.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it is here. Like, sure, the person can sell the services over and over, but from a psychological / addict perspective, you're not really helping. It's just a Band-Aid. You just, as an addict, you're going to go and keep on buying stuff, and then you're just going to hire somebody to come in and do it for you. But you're still not really like doing the value. You're not going through the process like, okay, yeah, this is what value that I need, or this is like, this brings me joy, blah, blah, blah. You kind of just telling somebody to do that for you, where even if this person comes back and guides you and do it, you still have to make those conscious decisions yourself. And so in a way, you are learning how to do it. And then next time you decide to maybe buy some more stuff, you're like, well, realistically, how am I? So yeah, in a way, she's not really she's selling you her service and what she knows, but she's not trying to milk you for your money. No. Like, oh, I'm going to come back. No, it's just like, no, this is a skill. It's a very, I wish I can find out. I'm pretty sure we can find out what is her like background. I wouldn't be surprised if she has some sort of like psychology background or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. And that's an interesting thing to look into. And I agree, because this is definitely a very psychological approach to things, because she's addressing a lot of key things, which I think is part of how her method came to be. She probably took minimalism and decided to take more of a life-building approach to go with it. And to really fine-tune and to address what you need to fix. That's the main thing with our issues, and that's the main thing with this method, is it's very particular about addressing main points, which most of us have. But basically, when you're actively choosing what items spark joy, and you're discarding the items that don't, the intention of the method is to have you have a clutter-free home, so you can bring more joy and prosperity in your life, because it's if you're always looking in a mess, your mind is a mess. And it's important while you're doing these methods to visualize the life you want to live. We kind of went over that, but I think that's a really important part of the transition that you're going to go through, which is cleaning your life up. You need to make a new goal, which is this ideal life, which isn't the one you're dealing with, and I'm sure for most of us, that's to be less stressed, and it's just crazy because we all love our stress, but we hate our stress. But anything that won't help you on the journey to less stress isn't deserving of your space or you, and that's really what she leaves with. And I think that's a good thing to end on her approach to it, because I think it touches on every value that she really possesses to go along with her method, which I appreciate more. It's a little more of a personal approach versus the other methods that I found.
I really, and I gotta say thank you for bringing this up, because as far I've never, I knew what it was, but I never really did the homework or really look into it or anything. And it's just bro, I feel like this was meant to be. Something happened for us to record this today. This is October 5th. This is a Tuesday. Her birthday, October 9th.
Weird.
Yeah,
that's not too far off.
No, by the time this gets in the air, her birthday's on Saturday. That's also my sister-in-law's birthday. 1984, so she's my age.
Oh wow.
She's gonna be my age. And remember how I told you what was her, I'm pretty sure she has a psychology major or something.
Yeah.
She studied sociology.
The study of
very
people.
Similar. Yeah. So very similar. And it looks like she went to several Christian schools and stuff. So this comes from a place to actually that comes from a place that, from a kind-hearted. And dude, sorry, I hit my microphone. On that one. I feel like we already have so much stress going, especially here in Western civilization, here in California. Everything's such in a hurry. Everything's, hurry. Where we already have so much stress. Why bring in that stress when you're at home, where it's supposed to be your place to decompose or something?
Yeah. Decompress, not decompose.
Decompress. Yeah, I'm sorry. Or both. Or both. Why not?
If you're dead. That's so good. I shouldn't have corrected you. Oh, that's great.
Basically, we're true though.
Yeah, no,
we're dying.
My bad.
I
cut you off.
But I was just telling this to. I was just talking to this to my partner. I was telling her that I don't like doing work in my room. Even though I have my desk, I'm in my room right now. I don't like doing homework here. My podcast is, those are more those are my art time. They're my free time. They're things that bring me joy. And I don't like doing homework or work here in my room where my desk is, because I feel like that will create so much stress. And I read this once, your bedroom should only be used for sleeping and for sex, so that way, why would I want to associate stress with this room where I'm also trying to get, some sleep, so,
Well, it's very jail too, if you think about it, right? So we don't really think about that very often, but it just kind of popped in my head. It's like jail's an all-in-one minus the yard.
Yeah.
But basically the only thing different about a jail cell, if you work in your room, is having a toilet in there too. I mean, man, what a life. Exactly. You're not creating a positive work environment at all. And then you're also not creating a good restful environment with your bed. So you're losing in all fronts. Now, if you live in a studio apartment, obviously this isn't for you. But you could put up some wall dividers maybe and be a little, separation is important.
Yeah, it's separation. Little dividing here and there. So yeah, visualize. And somebody told me that when I first started teaching. I was having a hard time. I'm sorry. Somebody told me that also when I first started teaching. And it's one thing that we talked about here in different episodes when we talk about stress and stuff is visualize what you want. Visualize the life. Visualize what brings you happiness and then work for it. Like once you have that picture in your head, it's kind of what you thrive for. And I think that's one thing also that I believe you said that she wants to do, encourage you to see the life. And once you have like an idea of what you want it to be, you start doing it. And and in a way it's very like one thing when I started going into therapy for my depression, my stress, my anxiety was my doctor would say, okay, write down several things that you wish to accomplish in a week. What things you want to accomplish. They can be as simple or as complicated as you want it. So, but once you're done, rate it on the scale of 1 to 5. How realistic are you going to do that? Like, how willing are you going to commit to that? 5 being you're all in. 1, I don't know. And they're like, but you can only pick 2 or 3 things that you're fully going to commit for the whole week. So, my thing was like, oh, I'm going to do my bed. I'm going to, shower. Believe it or not, like when I was in the middle of it, showering was like, just didn't feel it. Yeah. So like just doing that and seeing that you vision that you're going to do it and you actually did it, it's a sense of accomplishment. And it's a great way for me. It was a great way to start like my road to recovery and my road to be happier. So I feel like it is again a very psychological, social, sociology approach to it. Like you visualize your happiness, you work to it, and then when you do finish it, you feel accomplished, and you do start feeling better for yourself. You finish something that you set out to accomplish, and when it comes to like mental wellness, like that's a huge deal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's a smart person. So she studies sociology, which is the study of groups of people and how they act and behave within each other, right? Or alone. And it's very obvious that, God, I just totally had a brain fart. I had a total good point, too. God, that sucks.
Damn it. My bad.
Damn pot brain. No, it's not you. It's the weed. No, it's not. I'm not even high yet. Anyway.
It's that reefer.
I was going to mention that her approach with, God, help me out. So she's bringing up like, to put yourself in that position, right? To envision things. And it's because we're all, as human beings, we're very, I got it back, as you can tell. Yeah. As human beings, we're goal-oriented. And we need to know what the goal is before we can really, I feel like everyone's like this. We need to have that goal in mind before we can put in the work.
Yeah.
Because the other thing, too, is what are you putting the work in for?
Yeah.
You got to have a goal. Like a construction site, the goal is the building's done. Or for that week, we're laying the pipe for the plumbing. Like there has to be a goal so you can delegate and figure out what needs to be done to get to that goal. Now, if you don't have a goal, then that's like fucking driving a plane or flying a car. Whoa. Maybe the weed is working. Driving a car with no eyes, So, I mean, you got to have a goal. And I think I love that I'm glad you looked that up. That her sociology background definitely explains how it's very, very not unique, almost like I don't want to say vague, but universal is a good word. Yeah, it's a universal approach to how we all feel.
And and because sociology is a little bit of my background, my major social science, so a little bit of sociology here, psychology, whatever. Is very intersectionally, meaning like different aspects of, in this case, like of the categories and stuff, they kind of intercept each other and they kind of all relate to each other one way or the other. So it's a very sociologist or sociology approach to it, like different aspects, different levels of things and how they all connect for, when I introduce it, it has to do with like identity and how different aspects of your identity all make up who you are. In this case, is like how different levels of not just happiness and decluttering, but different aspects of your life. It is really is asking you to be more truthful with yourself, and the end goal is what brings you joy.
100%.
Yeah, very, very cool. Very cool stuff.
Super cool. And there were just a couple points. I think we went over a lot of the Konmari, but I wanted to just kind of go over like why minimalism does help us.
Okay.
Just real quick before we end, I thought this was nice because a lot of it just points out key points that it is why we're doing this to eliminate our discontent. And I had to actually look up discontent because I'm pretty good with spelling and I'm pretty good with things, but sometimes I'm like, what the hell? I mean, like I have an idea of what it meant, but I was like, what does discontent mean? So for those out there that need a little help, a lack of contentment. I always love those. It's like if I knew what contentment was. So anyway, it's dissatisfaction with one's circumstances. Okay. Makes sense. So you're eliminating your dissatisfaction with your life. You're eliminating your unhappiness.
You're making the change that you want.
Exactly.
You're creating the change.
Which is kind of the next one. Reclaim your time. You spend countless hours obsessing about how many like Porsches you have or how many like, I don't know, stupid things like how many gaming consoles you have. You might not even play them all. Maybe you do. But it's just like all this is excess. And realistically, you're not using all the stuff to the point where it makes sense to have it. Like no one is, right? We're all a hoarder to some degree, And that's kind of like the whole point of this. It's like you got to live in the moment, You're not. A lot of hoarding is planning. Like you're planning for something. It's a psychosis of planning to be prepared for something that's never going to happen.
And it goes back to what you said, like having a game plan. If you, with the problem with hoarding, from what I've seen in the shows and stuff, is like people are planning for something because you never know. But if you don't never know, then what's the point of even doing this?
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't know when's the end goal is going to be or when it's going to happen, why even do it?
I mean, what's a company without a mission statement?
Exactly.
And that's basically kind of what that is. It's like if you don't have any kind of goal, that's step one. Define your goal. Because even in this, it kind of says that. It's like, you got to have that idea of your ideal life. So I think that's step one. Maybe get a pen and pad and write down what your goals are, what you want in life. And then from there, that's your mission statement. That's what you come back to when you're realizing what am I trying to achieve? So write that down, get that figured out, then go through these categories, go through these steps. By the way, I can post a visual representation of these steps and categories, so it's not just our words. Obviously, with the podcast, I'm just going to post it as is, but I mean, like, I can do like a couple posts maybe sometime next week going over these. Cool. That it just helps some people out, maybe like a breakdown. I found a bunch of checklists. So I'm going to maybe see what I can do with getting some of those available to maybe include for people that want to get started, at least put out a link. So it's not just about like spreading awareness for ourselves for what our project, but this specific thing is really beneficial for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think most of us are ready to simplify our lives. We can all agree that we're out of our 20s.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a point in our lives where we don't have, if we have everything laid out, great. If you don't, you want to figure out what your next plan of action is so you can get things laid out. And I think this helps with that as well. It's
and I think you said it like, now that we're older, we're not in 20s, we thrive to be more organized and just the convenience. And I think this is why a lot of things are like so successful, because it's an all-in-one kind of thing. Like everything is there. I feel like this is why we're so addicted to our phones, because every single thing that we found value brings a joy is all there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to go anywhere else. So I feel like with this approach, with minimalism, is we're so used to having everything to our hands and in our disposal. By doing this, is kind of like a break from our norm, is our break from our our daily life routine is, and this really, and it's kind of is one of the points here that will help us, really helps you just focus on yourself and your health, and really put values on not materialistic items, but like but relationships.
Yeah, I mean, being present is huge. Being on your phone in front of your children is terrible. Being on your phone in front of your girl or your partner is just as shitty. The thing is, you're not in the moment. You're not really even happy. You're just addicted to you're addicted to a screen that's bright, that convinces you need it. It's a drug like anything else. And today, I've been doing something to kind of help me out with that. So I mean, obviously I have 4 Instagrams. I have to market the shit out of projects. So it's kind of hard to fucking be like, I can't have my phone on me. But that doesn't mean I don't take time to figure it out, because what I've been doing lately is not charging my phone at night, and I've been charging it during the day. And the cool thing is about charging it during the day, I mean, obviously I need it charged when I'm at work, but when I'm not using it, I plug it in. And what that does is it kind of forces it to be somewhere that's not in my pocket and that's not right in front of my face.
Okay.
So it's kind of me boot camping myself to be like, take a break. Take a break from this. And dude, you know what's crazy? I did it and I felt better. And the funny thing is you totally have this fear of missing out on information or things going on.
Yeah.
But dude, constantly, I've noticed this. I'm checking nothing. Like I'm checking Instagram so much to the point where it's like I'm noticing every 3 seconds when someone likes something. That's too much, dude.
Yeah.
I need to come back to my phone and see, like you just said, 19 messages. I need that. I need to not be always on it. I mean, do your thing. Do your social media, get your content out. Network a little, but then know when to shut it off.
With me, what I've been noticing, because this is all about me, obviously.
Yeah.
For me, I keep in my pocket on my work, but since I'm so busy, like walking around, classroom management, actually lecturing, helping out students, I've noticed that I probably only check my phone where like days off or something, I'm constantly on it. When I'm working, I'm checking it maybe once every hour, maybe.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then I realized, like, I'm pretty sure weekends, like, I have to charge my phone like midday.
Right.
I have to charge it because I drained it or something. Where like today, I only charged it. I just finished charging it right.
I think we might have lost Danny. Are you still there, buddy? It might have been me. Not sure what happened.
That's where.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know whether it was me or it was you, but you were frozen. But it was weird because I got a notification on my end that offline editing. So it's showing on my computer. I have full internet. I don't know what happened. Either way,
you kind of froze. But what I'm saying, what I was saying is basically like I've noticed that like today I only charged it. You know, it's been with me all the time, and I noticed that I was on the phone most until after off work. So it also is like a sense of like just keeping busy. Just keeping busy. And then of course, like I'm looking around my stuff here and super cluttering. So of course it's like when I'm not organized, I'm, addicted to one thing or the other. Or at school where it needs to be structured, it needs to be certain things, like it doesn't allow me. I don't give myself the liberty to do that because I just don't have time, or I don't have those, the structures and everything that has to be completed during that time period.
Yeah. I don't
know where I was going with that, but
no, sure. But I think it's good that, it's a balance and you're figuring out that balance and me too. And everybody needs to figure out what that balance means and what it is. But dude, didn't you feel better though? Like not feeling like you're just glued to the damn thing? Cause like it's a cancer, dude. Like we love it, but it's a fucking cancer. Like it turns us into obsessive, like weirdos.
Yeah.
And it's true though. We follow people. It's fun, but we get obsessed with it. I feel like we use it as a tool, use it for entertainment, but limit it so it's still valuable. Because like you just said, we're overusing and we're relying way too much on things, and it's really just taking all the value out of it.
Yeah.
So to end you this week, since we did such an in-depth and in my opinion, really pretty damn good presentation of this stuff, we're going to end you with this. I put this little thing together. I kind of liked how it sounded, and it's kind of a Frankenstein of points, but we leave you with this. Minimalism is a tool to rid yourself of life's excess in favor of focusing on what's important, so you can find happiness, fulfillment, and freedom. Freedom isn't just for Americans. That's right. It's for everybody.
That's true.
We tend to give too much meaning to our things, often forsaking our health, our relationships, our passions, and our personal growth. But most importantly, our desire to contribute beyond ourselves, which is kind of what I was mentioning. It's like, are you bringing joy to others? It's not just about us. It starts with us. We can't be a broken machine, but we also need to make sure we're not breaking other machines. So, but it's, minimalists search for happiness, but not through material objects, but they look through life itself and experiences. And it's really up to us to determine what is necessary and what is unnecessary in our life. And I don't think there's any other way to put it. I think that's the main point of this. And that's kind of my goal. It's been my goal the last year, really. As soon as Steph got into minimalism, I understood why I like it, because aesthetically, just the way it looks, it's very pleasing. Because like you just said, clutter, even if you don't mind clutter, or you say you don't mind it, in your head it bothers everybody. So it's just nice, it's neat, it's clean. And then it kind of allows you to focus on, because that clutter it's going to draw you in. Even if it's something you don't necessarily care about, it's an attention getter. So when you have a minimalist approach to your layout of your house, or just the way you live your life, I think it allows you to be more focused on the most, like we just said, the more things that matter more.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's focus less on the bullshit and more on ourselves and others and the relationships that we want to have and the lives we want to live,
Right on, dude.
Hell yeah. And until next time, I guess we bid you adieu.
Au revoir.
But thank you guys for checking us out. Thanks for always listening. And a shout out to minimalists, people.
Yeah.
Not minimalisms. And shout out to Marie Kondo. We got you, girl. If you want to shoot us some coupons for some of your services, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
And to our listeners, before we go, I will love to see like a before and after. If y'all ever done this, like a before and after, that'll be so satisfying. That'll be so awesome if y'all can share that with us.
Thank you, Danny, for bringing that up. That is actually a very important part of this as well, along with minimalism, is to take before and after pictures. It's great for later showing what you did to others, but it's also like progress report for yourself. This is what I'm doing. This is what I've gotten done, what we've accomplished, and it's motivating. So that is perfect. And damn, that's why there's 2 people running this thing, not one.
That's right.
Right?
That's
like
right.
Voltron, baby. Fucking Megazord this shit.
Shout out to Power Rangers.
Shout out to Power Rangers and Ivan Ooze. And I wish we could play music, because right now I would end you with Dreams by Van Halen, baby, and just make it happen. Straight up we'll fly. All right. I wish I could sing. So just if you know, dun 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 dun. So if you know Dreams by Van Halen, just start singing it right now, just for us. And
all together.
Yep. And we belong in a world that must be strong.
Yes.
Thanks, Sammy.
There you go.
Yeah, hell yeah. Until next week, guys. Later.
Peace.